Pleasant good morning, guys. Welcome to the Academy Answers podcast. Thanks for joining us and thanks for listening. And it's a beautiful morning, and I want to just stop to express gratitude. You know, we must express gratitude for life, for the ability to hear, to be listening to this now. You know, however bad it is, we can appreciate the fact that we're still here. And my grandmother used to always say, where there's life, there is hope. And hope, without hope, our heart would break. It is hope that gives us that invisible fuel for us to keep going on, knowing that there's a chance to get better, there's a way to move forward, and there's a way to become happy and become who we want to become. And unless we hold that feeling in our heart, unless we have that hope, that faith, that determination, that belief system, then it is pointless trying to get anywhere, because it is these invisibles that set the thermostat on our life. It will raise us up to the level that we think we can go, that we believe we can, that we hope to, or it will bring us down. There's this powerful saying, timeless saying, that says, whether you think you can or you can't, you're right. So if you think you can't do it, you can't do it. If you think you can do it, you can do it. And we often get into a point of overthinking and overcomplicating, and we don't stop to understand that there is a proven way. There is a way things work. And getting that understanding and allowing that to resonate with you in a deep sense is probably the exact and the only thing you need to change your life or to transform your life. And there's a difference between change and transforming. I think I did a podcast, an episode on that already, that some people do need a change, but some people need a transformation. Whether you need a change or transformation, you know, I can't determine that for you. If you take the time out, when you get to the point of reflecting on your life, of understanding that something is wrong, then you will know whether or not you need a change or transformation. Most adults actually don't need any new information. Most adults just need to be reminded of what they already know, and just need the diligence and the discipline to execute upon what they already know. Because there is a way in our culture where the proponents of or the crusaders of positive thoughts and positive actions and the keys to success and the principles and what needs to be done and pointing out the flaws, those crusaders are everywhere. Everybody understands that. It is like air. You walk up to the average person and you ask them 6 questions, and maximum 6 questions, and you will get to the bottom of what they need to change their life or what needs to happen in their whole being to make their life better. But they just don't do it. You know, people know that, look, I'm having too much soda, I'm having too much candy, I'm eating too late, I'm overworking, I'm drinking too much coffee, I'm smoking too much cigarettes, I am working too in a way that is a dead end route to success. This is not the way people become successful. This is not the way people build wealth. Most people know that. They can tell you that, but they are busy pursuing another course because it fits them in and it is comfortable and it is the norm. And because that is what everybody's doing. It's not that it is very easy, but it is the lowest hanging fruit. It is the usual, and people don't want to go the treacherous path of the unusual to get to a place that they desire to be. And that is what I want to talk about briefly this morning. I want to talk about one key factor, why most people will never get to the goals they set for themselves or achieve big dreams in their big dreams or get to any high level of achievement. And that's because there is what I call the linear versus the exponential model. What you will understand, and this goes back to how things work. You have to understand how things work. Human beings are motivated by two main phenomena, two main concepts. It's either the avoidance of pain or the achievement of pleasure. Those are the two greatest motivators because of the human nature. We try to avoid pain and we try to achieve pleasure. That's what moves us. Whether it is tangible pleasures or whether it is intangibles. That feel good approach. Well, there's experiments of the willpower concept that they did, I think back in the 70s, where they put 5 kids in a room and they gave them some form of a snack, and must be the marshmallow, I think it was. Call it marshmallow experiment. And 5 kids, and they put the marshmallow in front of each kid, and they told the kid that if they could resist eating the marshmallow for 5 minutes, after that 5 minutes is done, they would get 5 marshmallows instead of 1. Think of the 5 kids, don't quote me on this, only 2 were able to wait the 5 minutes and delay that instant gratification. And that is common, and that permeates through the whole human experience. People want it now. People can relate to a pleasure right now. And I often use this example that because if you smoke a cigarette, or if you take crack cocaine, if you try any drugs, or if you gamble, or any one of those things that is not gamble, say something that's physical, that affect your health. Let's say smoking a cigarette, or if you take drugs. Because the guy who puffs a cigarette is not going to pass out right now. The fact that it's giving him that pleasure now, he can separate himself from the danger that it might cost him his life 5 years down the line. So even though the consequences later are catastrophic, a person is likely to choose the pleasures now, because that's how human beings are wired. Now, the only thing that stands between that is discipline. That's why discipline is so timeless, and it comes back up every time, and they rework the concept and they put it in different ways, and they have other fancy ways of saying it, but it always boils back down to discipline. And most times we don't connect the entire model for someone, so we only talk about discipline, and you got to create this discipline, and you got to be disciplined. So people tend to connect discipline to willpower, but they're not one and the same, because willpower is always in the moment, but discipline is something that you push through with the help of willpower in order to create an habit. And if you can form the habit, that's the best way you can expect to hold discipline. In other words, if you can form a habit, then you will be known or labeled as a person who is disciplined in X. That's the most reliable way to build a discipline. Now, most people can't do it because of that linear exponential concept that we're talking about. Now, I remember this guy on YouTube who, Evan Carmichael, now listen to this. He does top 10 and motivational stuff and success stuff. Been doing it for a very long time. They're interviewing him, and he was showing some of the videos when he just started out. And he was explaining that the problem is that most times this is how everybody starts out, because you may have a talent and you may be good at something, you may demonstrate a higher than normal skills in a certain area, but if you are to build a skill and develop a high level of competence, you have to put in the hours and the training and the work, the hours spent on your craft. Now, when you start out, if you're playing football, if you're playing tennis, if you're playing golf, if you're in the gym, if you're public speaking, if you're selling, if you're running a business, if you're painting, if you're cutting hair, if you're doing nails, if you're fixing cars, whatever you're doing, when you start out, you will suck. It won't come off good. It won't be great. It will be mediocre. Because you haven't built a skill yet. Now, most people want to go to the gym and they want to flex the weights for half an hour and come home and start to look in the mirror to see if they see any form of muscle start to form. And the average person couldn't go 8 weeks without start seeing results, because progress is our greatest motivator. Now, what is being missed is that achievement, success, and progress towards a notable level is not linear, it's exponential. And what I'm trying to explain by saying that is that day one, as Evan Carmichael was saying in this video, day one when I was on camera, I sucked. Look awful. I was looking all over the place. It came off bad. I was uncomfortable. It just wasn't right. Day two, it sucked. Day three, it sucked. Day four, it sucked a little less. Sucking a little less means there's improvement. Day five, it sucked a little less. Day six, it keep getting a little, it's bad, but it's a little less bad, for want of a better word. It keeps improving a little bit. Now, when it improved by, let's say, 0.5% on day 6, 0.5% on day 7, 0.5% on day 8, 0.5 on day 9, 0.5 on day 10, 0.5 all the way to day 30. When you get to day 35, it's not going to improve 0.1, or it's going to improve 1% or 1.5%. It's going to improve 8%. After you put in a certain amount of reps, time in your craft, work, practice, the improvement is exponential. It takes a leap. The time between when it is stagnant or the time between when there is linear growth is what gets most people. They cannot stick it out until the exponential factor kicks in. And that is what gets most people. So if most people are pretty far behind the 8 ball, for example, they are really overweight and it is very slow and takes a long time to start shedding the pounds, much less to show muscles, they are gonna stop because they simply can't stick it out. When we were growing up, they used to call it stick-to-itiveness. Are you able to stick to it through the period of low or no results, obvious results? Can you build it up to a level where it is impactful? Can you pour water in even when you're not seeing it on the edge? Can you pour water in the empty swimming pool before and wait and keep pouring until it has enough for you to jump in and take a swim? Can you ride out that period of slow or no growth? Because that will, in most cases, for most people, is the determining factor. Most people give up when they're almost there. And I'll end with 2 concepts so you get to understand this. If you have invested a certain amount of time, if you have been in a certain process for any great length of time, you have been writing, you have been repairing cars, you have been learning marketing, running ads, you have been building websites, you have been doing setting up your business, going through all that process of running a business. You probably been trying to exercise and you totally stopped, or the business failed, or it's not going well, or you're not getting enough clients, or something is not where you planned for it to be, and you stopped. Maybe some economic conditions or some health issue or whatever it is, financial issues that wiped you out, took you back down. You're out the game. One principle I want to leave you with, the first principle I want to leave you with, is that there's a common notion that people like to speak of about you have to start from zero. That's hogwash. It doesn't work like that. Nobody who has done something for a long time have to start from zero. You are starting from a foundation of having done it already. You're starting from a foundation. You're not starting from zero. You're not starting from square one. You have experience, you have time in the game, you have developed certain skills. What you are doing, you're starting over, but you're not starting over from zero. You're not starting from ground zero, because you have done it already. And anyone who have done something already necessarily already have a flat platform. So take heart in the fact that you have a foundation. That's the first thing I want to leave you with. And the second thing I want to leave you with is that this saying that I've coined many years ago when I was doing my Facebook blog. And it said that in order for you to reach success, in order for you to build anything to a high level, is you have to be able to work in the dark until you see the light. knowing that you're not working straight in a straight line. It's not a straight road. But there's no telling which corner the light will appear, or when the light will appear, and upon which corner, when you make that corner, you will see that light. You got to go in faith. You got to believe in the system and the proven system after you've researched it and understand that this is the way, and you're learning and working. Understand that you have to be able to work in the dark until you see the light, because no one knows upon turning which corner that light will appear. Success, the achievement of your goals, is not linear. It's exponential. Have a great day, guys. Thank you. Always a pleasure.